Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel where we make art, we talk about life, and I am Ray, of course. So today is part 2 of this little sunset phoenix painting that we're doing. So as a reminder, here is kind of the direction that we're going. This is a sketch that I did a little while ago, and you can see the sunset, you can see the palm trees, you can see this beautiful little fiery phoenix there sitting on the phone lines enjoying the evening. So this is where we're at right now. I know it doesn't look like much, but it is the background layers of this. And I know it also looks a little different than we saw at the end of the last video where there was paint like running all over the place. I cleaned it up a little bit. Now that I've done that, I wish that I had done that on camera, but it's all right. I had basically just decided, you know what, we're just gonna go for it. Bold colors, bold lines, doesn't matter. This is supposed to be art, and it is supposed to be creative, and it is supposed to be an expression. So let's express ourselves a little bit more. And today we are also going to chat just more about art. And I want to talk about what it means to me, and I want to know what it means to you. So, and as I say that, I fall completely silent. Okay, so what I'm doing now in terms of this painting is just kind of adding some more color. I'm looking at it on the viewfinder and that actually really helps me to see some of the proportions better, because like when I'm right here up close, it's really easy to get lost in the little things, but seeing it there, I can see a little bit more. Oh my god, a little bit more about what's going on. Hold on, let me fix that. I put the brush down without even thinking about what the heck I was doing. See, this is the struggle. Already I'm finding the struggle of painting and talking to you guys at the same time. How does Bob Ross do it? I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna clean my brush in my water back here so that I don't do that again. And I think it's time that we move on. This back first layer of sunset is, I don't think, going to get much better than this. So why not just start adding those clouds, and we can cover up some of this with the clouds. Yeah. So for the clouds, I'm going to take, let's try taking this little palette knife here. What color? Okay. When in doubt, go back to the plan. Go back to the plan. Go back to this. So if you look, I've placed clouds up here at the top, coming down the sides and across. These are all clouds as well. And if you look, the back is blue, but these clouds are pinkish, purplish. So what we're gonna do is get some pinkish, purplish, and just kind of make outlines with the palette brush. So I'm taking, right here, I'm taking red and white to make pink. That's like a little light pink, and then I'm gonna take just the tiniest bit of blue and mix that in. And now that I'm looking at it, I think it might have been too much blue. It's getting a little too dark. So a little more red, a little more white, there. And now it's a purplish, sort of grayish color. I think, like I said in the previous video, there we go. Okay, that's a little something. That's kind of what I was thinking. When I was first learning to paint, my art teacher had me mixing my own colors from the primary colors as a way to practice like just like the art theory of it, of this color makes this color, and how do you do this? Because if you can do it on your own and you know like what undertones you need to put in to get what colors, you know how much to mix stuff, how much white, how much brown, that's always helpful for your future endeavors. Okay, the palette knife is not working, so we're gonna experiment. This is an angled brush. I'm not sure, angled brush, how well you can tell. I dipped it in water, dipped it in paint. I'm dipping it back in the water just a little bit. Let's see, this back paint isn't really fully dry, so whatever. It's not a big deal. These don't need to look exactly like clouds. They just need to look like I was trying to draw clouds. And okay, here's something we can talk about is the process of art, learning how to draw and how to paint and how to make weird little strokes of a brush look like something else. Okay, let's see. Before we go any further, let's make a plan. So I feel like these do look like clouds to a certain extent, but as we're getting down here, they're blending in a bit because this already has a lot of purple in it. So this pink is just kind of turning, it's blending in, and we want it to stand out. We want it to look like the clouds are sitting on top of the sky. So in order to do that, I think I'm gonna take some red and mix it in there and do some like red clouds. How does that look? It looks like just like the bottom shadow of this cloud. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So we were gonna talk about making paint strokes look like something else. And that's, I don't want to talk about that. that goes more into like art technique and stuff. And in this video, in this little series, I'm just more trying to talk about art itself and what it means and how and why we should all be doing art. Okay, I'm trying to put these clouds in here, and it's not quite, okay, so this was better. This red here made it stand out a little bit. I'm gonna put some red here on the undersides of these, almost a sort of like shadow. It's a little bit to show depth and dimension. And we'll go in later and we'll put some lighter colors to do the opposite side of that depth and dimension. You gotta think about the light source. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not thinking about the light source. I'm just putting colors on here, trying to make it look good. Okay, let's see. In my sketch, as it goes down, the clouds get more orangey. Orange is a hard color to mix, because if you use too much, if you go too much in any direction, it's not orange anymore. And especially if you use too much white, then it kind of turns pink, and you can't really come back from that. So I've just mixed just red and yellow, and there's some other colors that have gotten in there because my brush was dirty from other colors, so that's my fault. But we are just going to now start making these clouds orange and hoping that that stands out more against this background, which it sort of is. I like to do the sides as you go. I think it just helps, I don't know, keep those colors consistent, and then you don't have to worry about going back and filling it in and like remixing colors. So what I'm doing, some orange here. What I'm doing is just making little circular motions with it, just trying to give the illusion of the little like cloud puffs that you see, and not worrying too much about exactly where it's placed. It just kind of has to sort of look like a cloud. It doesn't have to be a cloud, you know? And the human eye is smart enough that it'll fill that in for you. So I guess we are talking about what I didn't want to talk about, which is making things look sort of like what they're supposed to be, and then you let the eye and the brain of your audience do the rest. So like, did I go through and exactly outline specific clouds and use a reference photo and be like, oh, this shadow goes here and this highlight goes here? No, I'm just using my heart to fill in where I think clouds would go and what I think clouds would look like. All right, as we get down here, we're gonna make these more and more red to look fiery and to stand out against the yellow. So I took a little bit of yellow, you can barely see that. I took a little bit of yellow here, and now I'm taking some red and mixing it, and it just looks like red. And let's see, maybe like there, just a little bit. And I'm kind of doing a little bit on these other clouds to kind of help with the transition. And this is not supposed to look realistic. I'm not trying to make it look realistic in any sense. And I think that we can all tell, so I don't need to beleaguer that point at all. But it looks like, it's almost starting to look kind of stormy. A little stormier than I was originally intending. But I'm all right with that. Okay, yeah, let's go back. So, like, think about anime. I'm gonna talk a little more about anime because I love anime, and that is how I started drawing anime. Talked about that in my last video. So, like, in anime, in manga, they don't draw an entire nose with two little nostrils and each curve and make sure they get a good sloop. They just draw a little, like, you know? And you know it's a nose because it kind of has the same sort of shape, and your brain isn't stupid. It's like, oh, I know that's a nose. You don't have to, no more needed. That's a nose. So it's the same thing here in painting. I don't need to draw or paint specific shapes of clouds. I just need to make some strokes that look like sort of how a cloud would look, and you look at it and you're like, okay, that's a sky and those are clouds. And I'm now just kind of going in and filling some points in, kind of bringing some of the colors that I used down here up into here to mix them more and make the entire piece look a little more cohesive. I'm gonna go back in here and add some larger curves and strokes, so it doesn't, because like right now it's looking a little messy down here. It's looking a little messy everywhere, but that's all right. Yeah, let me know if you guys are actually painting with me or if you're just watching me paint. Let me know if you're all right with how much I'm just rambling and coming up with things off the top of my head, or if you would rather that I was a little more focused in what I'm talking about. Let me know if you like just chatting about anything, random things, or if you want to like pick a specific topic and just stick to it, or if you want to know more about the actual like painting like techniques and why I'm making the decisions I'm doing. I'm trying to talk about that, but I don't know if it's really coming off that well because I also feel like I'm going a little crazy. Okay, so it needs something. Do these look like clouds? That doesn't look like clouds at all, does it? This sort of looks like clouds. Okay, let's let's do some logic here. So if the sun is setting down here, that means that this is basically where the light source is coming from, and it's projecting off this way, projecting up and out. So the sun is going to be the sun is the furthest thing back, so that means the highlights, all the light is hitting on the other side of these clouds. And it's a little shadowy on this side where we're actually painting. So I think what I want to do is kind of fill in some darker undersides to show the shadows. And then we're going to go in with a light color, probably like a pinkish or a yellow, and outline some of the tops to show the light like kind of spraying up through the clouds and hitting the tops of them. So let's do that. Hold on. We're gonna have to put it on pause while I go let my boyfriend into the house, and I will see you guys real soon. And we're back. Okay, so I was talking about putting in some more, being a little more intentional with the shadows and the highlights here. So we'll start with the shadows. I probably could have looked up some reference pictures of clouds, but who wants to do that? That sounds like no fun. I'd rather just make it all up. So for shadows, I'm gonna take blue, because if you look at the world around you, shadows usually have more of a bluish undertone, and highlights usually have more of a yellowish undertone. Is that true? Am I just making that up? So I don't really like using straight black unless there's a very specific reason, because a lot of the times, especially out in nature, you don't have just straight black. It is a dark brown, or it is a very, very dark blue with a little bit of red to make a purplish and stuff like that. So we're just gonna mix the colors that we already have here. It's making a mess, but that's the fun of it. So I mixed mostly blue and a little bit of red to get this color here. And I'm gonna take that, okay, I'm looking at this cloud. The undersides of this cloud would probably get some light. So I'm going to put the shadows up here, up top a little bit. They're looking a little thick. That's fine. We're just gonna go with it and see what happens. So these, the light would be hitting this ridge here. So I'm gonna put the shadows more on this side down here. And I'm gonna kind of clump them together. Get a little bit of water and keep going. I'm trying to, let's see, I don't want to make these videos too long because I don't know how long people want to like actually sit and paint or watch someone else paint. So let's see, going in with some shadow. Is that, yeah, that looks better. That's kind of more what I was going for. And then I'm going back in over the ones that I've done lightly and kind of around the edges, and that just kind of helps blend it out a little bit more so you don't see such harsh lines. Okay, I'll take that. And I'm gonna keep that going throughout the rest of these. So I think now I might do like a little time lapse. Here, can you guys see this all right? If I move it over, is that better? I feel like that's better. I'm gonna do like almost a little time lapse and just kind of sit and concentrate for a bit. And then we'll jump back in very soon. I'm happy with how that's looking. So let's zoom out and reframe. Oh, there we go. Reframe a little bit. Wow, I got way more paint than I needed to. That's all right. You live and you learn. Okay, so we did the shadows. I feel like it's looking like it has a little more depth. I'd pick it up, but I don't want to get my fingers too painty. So we're gonna go in with the highlights now and do that. So I'm going to I'm taking this same brush. I like to use the same like 2 brushes for a whole painting. Should I get a smaller one? Probably. Let's try the smaller brush. Hold on, give me a second. This is I don't know what kind of brush you'd call that. Can you even see this? I don't even know. How do the YouTubers do this? I don't know. This is like a round, this is a really bad brush. I'm not gonna use that. Okay. This is like a pack of like fairly like new brushes that I have not touched at all because I don't know why. I don't even know. Okay. So let's pull this guy. I'm feeling this guy. This is like a small round brush. Is that in focus? It's not. I'm in focus. I'm not even gonna try. This is like a small round brush, I think. It goes to a little bit of a tip. I'm gonna do something like that. So what I'm gonna do is, oh, I already got some purple on it. I'm gonna dip it in some water, get it some wet. I'm gonna take white, just white, and a little bit of purple, because I just got purple on it. And I'm going to just sort of make some, like where these little humps are, I'm gonna sort of outline them with this white, so. Like that. Can you see that? So it's supposed to look like the sun is shining up from behind these clouds, and maybe I'll do some rays in there to show that, but it's kind of catching the tops of these clouds and the undersides of these clouds. So we're going to do that and then just kind of get creative with it. Wherever we think we want some light, we're gonna put some light, because this is your own world. It really doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. And that's another great thing about art, is that you can do whatever you want, and not just art, but just being creative. There is no rules. I mean, like, to a certain extent there's rules, and there's like a theory to art of this is how to mix colors, and this technique does this, and here's how to make a good composition in order to draw the eye through the piece so that people enjoy looking at it. Like, there's stuff like that, but especially if you're just doing it for yourself in order to make yourself happy, then you can just do whatever you want. And no one can tell you otherwise, because art is subjective, and anyone who tries to tell you otherwise, you need to stop listening to them. Like, I had a teacher in middle school who didn't want you, it was a math class, so to a certain point I understand, but he didn't want to catch you drawing at all. Like he said that. He's like, I don't want to see anybody drawing. This is math. We're only doing math and stuff like that. And I did at one point get in trouble for drawing in class because I was like, I honestly forgot that he made that rule, and I drew all the time. So why, if I'm done with my work, why wouldn't I draw? And I got in trouble for it. So when someone tries to control and put rules on your artistic creative expression, to heck with them. To heck with them. So, and being creative, we're gonna go back to talking about creativity in general and my encouragement of you to do something creative. Okay, how's that looking? Do those look like clouds? Does it help to have some light in there? What's this? Here, I'm looking at this part. I'm gonna put some yellows. I'm just taking straight yellow and using that to, I'm gonna clean my brush first. Notoriously bad at doing that. Okay, straight yellows. So my encouragement of you guys to be creative is because it's gonna make you happy. And like I said, we as human beings are meant to be creative, and being creative doesn't mean, oh, you have to make art, you have to paint, you have to draw. My brother recently started cooking and doing fancy gourmet cooking. He's making his own pie crusts. He made breadsticks at one point and they were delicious, and that's creativity. That's a self-expression. That's him using his hands and making something from nothing. And he's been loving doing that, and we as his family love it because then we get to eat that food. Okay, now I'm putting some yellows up here. I don't have a good reason why, I just kind of want to. I want to expand the color palette around the full range of the piece. So yeah, cooking is creative if you like working with your hands to do, you can do sculpture, but also woodworking, building furniture, that's a creative endeavor. Singing, playing an instrument, something to, like I said earlier, make something from nothing. This was a blank canvas, and now it is a piece of art. We're getting there. You can take, a blank plate and put some food on it. That is a piece of art. A blank couple of minutes, put some music over it. That's art. So it's whatever makes you happy. If you just go to the beach and stretch and move your body, and that counts too. Just something that gets you out of the daily life and the daily grind and the have-tos and the supposed-tos and this and that. Something where you can be free to do what you want. Okay. I'm liking this. I feel like I'm looking at the viewfinder. There's a lot of red down here. There's almost like a line here, and it's not transitioning super well into these purples and blues. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go back to this angled brush. Where's the best place? This angled brush with some reds, and just put some swatches of red in around here, and see if that helps with that transition a little better. And then after that, I think that this layer is just about done. So, there. How's that? Oh yeah, that's doing it. That's doing what I wanted it to do. Alright, so putting these here is makeup. Makeup is art, is self-expression. That's a great thing to do as, I mean, you know, man or woman, do what you want, I don't care. What about that? Okay, yeah, that's looking better. I think you could use a little more red over here as well. And this is just straight red. And I'm getting just like a little bit on it so that as I do the sausage, I almost said sausage, swashes of red. It's not completely fully saturated, but you can see it's just like a little blush of red over these spots, and you can still see the color that's underneath. Ooh, was that too much? Yeah, that was like a little too much. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna put a little more red down here. There's always more to do, you know? There's always more to do. Okay. I don't want to overwork this too much. I don't want to get too crazy. So in terms of the clouds in the sky, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I feel like now the sky up here looks a little too blank. Like there's nothing, with how much color there is down here and how many different shades and layers, this doesn't look good. So I'm gonna go in with blue again. This is just straight blue, but because this is light, this is gonna be, you can tell, it's gonna be a little darker. There we go. So there's some dark blue. It's hard to paint over previous layers. It's hard to go in and change layers under what you've already done, but that's all right. We're trying anyways. Okay. Well, we'll see how that dries. I think that's good enough. I'm gonna put some blue here as well. And I'm also gonna use my finger to kind of spread it around because who cares? You can do whatever you want on your piece of painting. Okay. That's good enough. Good enough. I mean, yeah. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Good enough is good enough. I am gonna go in with some yellow because this looks too red right here, and I want to lighten it up a little bit. So going in with some yellow. Okay, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Sweet. So that is the next layer down. Let's pull up the sketch to compare. Hold on. I'm a mess. Okay. So, as a reminder, this is where we are going. This is where we are at now. So you can see we've got that transition down pretty well of the blue up here to the purple to the red to the yellow. Not so much yellow down here. It's going to get covered up by the palm trees anyways. So that's going to be it for this video. I think it was a little longer this time because there was a lot to do, a lot of details. But no problems, no worries. So I don't know how long this painting is gonna take, this little series is gonna take, because we're figuring it out as we go along. So this has been part 2. There's going to be at least a part 3 where we're then going to add in the palm trees, and then over top add in the phone lines and the phoenix. So that'll be the next video. I hope that you all will join me for that one as well. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss it when it comes out. And tell me in the comments, tell me what art and creativity means to you. Tell me how you like to be creative in your daily life, or if you're not, tell me what you want to do. And maybe we can figure out a way for you to, you know, work it in and make time for it and make it a priority, because I really think that it should be a priority for everyone to be doing something creative. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching and sticking around, and I will see you guys next week.